destiny. We're all in this. Till the end.
Hi guys, so this video today is going to be very different from the ones that I've been making in the past. In fact, I've really never tried something like this before. I wanted to talk about some of the good things about Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. This movie has been getting a lot of negative feedback in the press and in the reviews, although yes, I definitely agree that the movie is far from perfect and there are some significant glaring issues with it. But that does not overshadow the good things that I did enjoy about this movie. And overall, I have to say that I've seen it a few times now in theaters, and I watched it with my wife also, and really solidified her as a true Star Wars fan, more so than I even could have imagined. This list is going to be not in an order of things that I liked about it, but in the chronological order as the movie went on. So I was just basically going from memory the way that the movie went from start to finish. So without further ado, here are the 30 or so things that I personally really enjoyed about this movie. Different elements that, when put together, really made for a really fun and enjoyable experience for me. The first one is actually the opening scene, which was an awesome fight scene with Kylo Ren bringing down his enemies. There's something brutal and visceral about the intensity of this fight scene, and is also something that's really missing in the Star Wars franchise. But in here, I feel like this fight scene was actually handled very well. The dialogue with Palpatine when he was using Darth Vader's voice and saying,
"At last, my boy, I have been every voice you have ever heard inside your head."
I thought it was really powerful and strong and really gets under your skin. The line, "The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities that some would consider unnatural." As the light flashes over his face for the first time, that kind of brings me back to the time when Palpatine was a senator, had a conversation with Anakin Skywalker while they were watching their futuristic Cirque du Soleil show.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Darth Plagueis was a dark lord of the Sith. He could even keep the ones he cared about from dying. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Is it possible to learn this power?
Not from a Jedi.
There are some things that you can only learn from the dark side of the Force. This was kind of an homage to this iconic scene to bring Palpatine back to life for the viewers, and I thought it was very, very powerful. When Kylo Ren pointed his lightsaber at Palpatine's face and he said, "What can you offer me?" To which Palpatine replied simply, "Everything." And then he showed him the huge battalion of the Final Order starships that he was building up and hiding. With all the Nazi references that the Star Wars movies had, this reminded me of the final solution that the Nazi regime had for Europe, which led to the Holocaust, and that was supposed to be the complete world domination. In much the same way, the Final Order was supposed to have been the final solution for the entire galaxy and to completely dominate every planet that had life on it, just like the Nazis had for the whole world.
And we'll remember this as the last day of the Republic!
The chess-like game that Poe and Finn play against Chewie.
200 hours.
It's a nice homage to the times that this game was being played in the previous movies, especially the first one, Episode 4, when C-3PO was playing it against Chewie also, and how Chewie made a big deal of showing off how good he is in that game.
He made a fair move. Screaming about it can't help you.
Let him have it. It's not wise to upset a Wookiee.
The chase sequence with the Millennium Falcon doing the light skipping. It was a really short but very thrilling scene because you got to see some really exciting looking sequences one after another, which gave you just enough time to appreciate what you were seeing. The totally badass way that Rey tricked Kylo Ren as he was mind controlling the attack bot that she was training with, as he was seemingly predicting every move that she made with her lightsaber, until she was able to destroy it with a regular wooden stick. And I actually really enjoyed the constant psychic connection that the two of them had, which brought some really otherworldly connection to the scene every time. The sound effects and the ambience that was there, it was really powerful. It really felt like it was something out of this world. The continuing bond that is reinforced between C-3PO and R2-D2 when C-3PO is about to embark on another journey away from his friend. The way that they say bye to each other, that was really, really sweet and heartfelt. When a member of the general meeting, Kylo Ren, was talking about how they were going to be getting the forces from the Final Order, one of the members of the meeting started questioning the motives, and Kylo Ren not only choke forced him but also threw him up against the ceiling. That really shut everybody up and made them realize who was really in charge in the room and who is the person never to be questioned again. The festival that our heroes visit when following their clues from Luke, it just happens to take every 42 years, which coincidentally is when the first Star Wars movie, Episode 4, was featured in a movie theater back in 1977. Yeah, it's been that long. The way that Kylo Ren snatched Rey's necklace away from her in one of their psychic mind meld conferences, it was a really great way. He used it as a clue to help him figure out where she was hiding and also to show off his true power to her, which he often likes to do in this movie. I like the scene of the surprise reveal of Lando Calrissian, played by the original actor Billy D. Williams. It really seemed like when he came on the scene, he knew that the audience will be just as surprised to see him as the heroes were. So he had this big smile on his face and just this expression, yep, that's right, it's me, I'm back. He also really seemed to have enjoyed playing every scene that he was in, so that was pretty cool. I like the scene of when C-3PO rejoined the heroes seemingly out of nowhere and proclaimed, "Don't worry, I'm alright," even though nobody even seemed to have realized that he was gone. That was pretty funny. The following ground chase scene, I thought it was really cool and pretty exciting. It reminded me a lot of the pod racing scene in Episode 1. That was actually pretty much the highlight of that whole movie. And also how there were so many epic shots in there. It looked like there were so many just money shots in there, if you know what I mean. It just looked pretty epic. I liked how this chase scene went on. It was really fun. It was a pretty funny scene when, after the heroes fell through the quicksand and ended up down underneath the ground, Paul was calling out for Rey and Finn to see if they were okay. Then C-3PO proclaimed that he didn't hear his name called, but that he was okay. That was, again, kind of funny that nobody seems to give a damn about C-3PO. Poor guy. And it was kind of ironic that they didn't consider C-3PO to be all that important until he was able to read the Sith dagger with the location of the Wayfinder that they were looking for. And although he was able to understand it, it was hilarious how he simply was not able to translate it for them because he was programmed not to on a mechanical level. So when somebody actually wanted him to speak, he couldn't because it was written in the forbidden language of the Sith. So that was just simply not something that C-3PO was mechanically capable of transcribing for them. The powerful scene when Rey blew up the transport that she thought that Chewie was on. She did it by accident, of course. She was trying to simply take control over it with her force powers, but the force powers just kind of ran away from her. This is the spot where Kylo Ren and Rey together realize that she is actually way more powerful than anybody has thought. The new droid that our heroes have found, named D-O, green and white droid, was a quirky little dude who was kind of different from any of the other characters or other droids. It was kind of good that even though it seemed like they were just trying to cash in on making new toys for people to buy. It was good that there was some uniqueness to the personality and the character. When the heroes landed on the planet Kijimi and were introduced to the new character Zori Bliss, it turns out that Poe has some really interesting history. Considering the kind of character that he is, you would imagine that he must have had some baggage, but it's pretty cool how there was some explanation to what kind of character he really was and the kind of dynamic that he has with other people. I really like the scene with the little hacker alien that was hacking into C-3PO's brain in order to be able to pull out the information about the message on the Sith dagger. He was just so adorable, so cute. But also it was very humbling to see how C-3PO had a deep respect for his friends and the way that he looked back at them one last time, just to kind of sink in the memories that he had of them before he had those memories wiped, because he knew that he was pretty much sacrificing himself. He was never going to be the same after his memories were going to be deleted.
What are you doing there, 3PO?
Taking one last look, sir, at my friends.
It's this whole notion of self-sacrifice that was very powerful in this scene. It was a really cool scene when Rey was infiltrating the place where Kylo Ren was based, and then they had one of their mind conferences. So it was really, really cool how Kylo Ren was constantly trying to dig under her skin and get into her head. The way he was kind of just teasing her about her past and telling her that he knew who her parents were and about her past and the things that she really, really wanted to know. But he was just mercilessly teasing her, and I think that was really well done too. I like the scene when the new character Jannah was talking to Finn about her past, and the way that she revealed that, like him, she was also actually a former stormtrooper, that her and the rest of her team actually defected. Her former name used to be TZ1719. So it turned out that she and Finn really did have a lot in common.
Oppan Gangnam Style.
They escaped from the First Order because they didn't want to follow their orders of simply mercilessly killing civilians and innocent people. So it's really good that there are actually humans underneath those stormtrooper masks, and really does show some humanity about them. So I think that was really well done. The fight scene between Kylo Ren and Rey, when they were fighting between the crashing waves, it was a really good fight scene, first of all, but I also liked how when Kylo Ren tried to attack Rey and she was able to hold his attack back with the force power, but then Kylo Ren, just a few seconds later, did the same trick, but he held it off a bit longer and making the lightsaber pulsate with power. He was clearly doing it to show off once again that he is more powerful than her, or so he was led to believe. And then towards the end of that fight scene, when Leia died on a far-off base, and then both Kylo Ren, followed by Rey, were able to sense of her passing. That gave Rey the chance she needed to kill Kylo Ren right before she brought her back to life again. It was a very well done scene, how one of the most beloved characters in the Star Wars franchise was killed off, but not during some crazy battle or an explosion or anything like that. She was able to just pass away in her sleep, and it just kind of made ripples throughout the fabric of the Force. It was done with great reverence and respect, and I really appreciated that. I like the scene when Rey met the ghost of Luke Skywalker, and he was able to not just raise his old ship from out of the water, but also show how he was able to totally master the trick that Yoda was teaching him in Star Wars Episode 5.
I don't believe it.
That is why you fail.
During the training, that was the famous scene with Yoda saying, "Do or do not, there is no try." I probably should not try to do Yoda impressions. That's not my strength.
Do or do not. There is no try.
That he was struggling with it before, but now he just did it like, there you go. And the way he kind of looked into the camera with a slight twinkle in his eye to show everybody, yeah, see, I got this. I like how in the scene when C-3PO met with R2-D2 for the first time after having his memory wiped, the scene was very reminiscent in Episode 4. It was just kind of cute, the way that C-3PO was going through his initial stock introduction monologue.
I am C-3PO, Human-Cyborg Relations.
When the heroes land on the Final Order cruiser, the general on the ship, he wanted to jam their speeders. They were actually doing it old school, riding on the alien horseback. instead of using mechanical speeders. In the scene when Rey was seemingly just about to strike down Palpatine and ironically giving him what he wanted, instead she used the power of the Force to pass one of her lightsabers to Kylo Ren. In the scene when the Final Order was just about to destroy what's left of the Resistance, and then finally the allies of the Resistance came from all across the galaxy to meet up with them and fight against the First Order. And when you see the giant armada that they were able to put together and all the ships from everywhere where there's humanity still left, and then the triumphant Star Wars theme music started playing. That was, wow, a really hair-raising, beautiful scene. I really liked the way they did that. When Palpatine sapped all of the energy from Rey and she was down and couldn't even move, and then when she needed the power the most, the voices from the Jedi of the past, from all across the Star Wars universe, even the video games and the animated shows, from Yoda to Qui-Gon Jinn to Luke Skywalker and even Anakin Skywalker, they all joined their voices and the power of the Force.
The Force will be with you.
Always.
Yeah, that was really pretty epic. I think that was one of the most powerful moments actually in the movie in a way. It was really cool in the scene after the big climactic fight when Zorii Bliss and Poe kind of saw each other at the end, and Poe mimicked to her, so like, how about, you and me, maybe go celebrate somewhere else? And Zorii just like went, mm-mm. And then Poe said, well, yeah, it was worth a shot. I thought that was pretty funny. It was also in this scene when Chewie finally got the medal that was owed to him back from Episode 6. It's about time. Better late than never though, right? And then finally when Rey was asked for her family name, and then seeing the ghost of Luke and Leia, who seemed to have given their official seal of approval, she responded, Rey Skywalker, to kind of take on the mantle of the Skywalker name and be like the spiritual successor to the Skywalker family lineage that she might as well would have been, because she wanted nothing to do with Palpatine or his evil ways, because as they say, you are not who you are born into. And then that was it. She walked off into the sunset, and that was the conclusion of the Star Wars saga. For me, personally, this was a very good conclusion. It was a right way to end things, the way that the whole movie wrapped up. I really enjoyed a lot of the things in this movie, a lot of things that went right. These are just my personal opinions. This is what made the movie for me. There are, of course, a lot of things that were also wrong with this film. Maybe at some point in the future I might make a follow-up video and list some of the things that kind of didn't work for me. But in the meantime, I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit the like button. And also, if you haven't yet already, please subscribe to my channel, because it does help me out a lot. And then there will be always more videos coming at you from the Time Lapse Traveler.